Hey friends, welcome back to another video. My name's Emma Lefebvre, and recently the company Lightwish reached out to me and asked if I would try some of their new watercolor products, and obviously I said yes. I love sharing products with you, especially affordable ones. So let's check these out and get started. Okay, so today we're going to be looking at the Lightwish Watercolor Sketchbook and this travel set, which looked really intriguing. Both of them look really nice, just their packaging and kind of the way they work. So I was really curious to test them out. So let's take a look at the watercolor set first. Now it comes in this kind of like wooden box. It's 24 colors, vibrant colors, leather sheath, walnut wood box. It looks fairly luxurious. And I've seen some that are kind of looking like this lately online, and I was very excited to try it out. So it has this magnetic kind of leather case. This also flips up. So what you can do here is it magnetizes to the back, and then you can put, so it has the swatch cards here. You can put your swatch card or your painting on the magnetic back. You need to get a clip. It doesn't come with a clip, but these are cheap. Like that. And then here is the set. So it comes out, it's not attached, but you can use this kind of like an easel to paint on, and then here are your watercolors. So 24 colors, and I have tried Lightwish watercolors before, and I've actually really liked them. These are nice big pans, full pans, like they're a very decent size. But we are going to test out the quality. Really nice areas for mixing wells, lots of room. You could always put like your travel brush here if you had one. It won't fit like a big brush, but if you have travel brushes that you use, will fit in there nicely. If you take this out and you flip it upside down, the pans do fall out. Just an FYI. I found that out the hard way. Don't flip it upside down. So I mean, really ideally for traveling, you want to make sure that you keep this little plastic thing on. Then I'm assuming you can, then you can put it upside down, but that's what that little plastic thing is for, to keep the pans from falling out. Okay, so this is pretty cool. I think you put this behind, and then you can use it as like a travel watercolor set. So typically I don't use watercolor like on an easel. When I'm painting, I use it flat. So you can always just like have it flat down, but maybe we'll try to swatch them while they're, tilted. The only thing with that is because watercolor is like a very watery medium, it will drip. So you can't use that much water, but this is very beautiful overall, very nicely crafted, but we do want to get to the watercolors and see what their quality is like. So let's swatch them and we'll talk a little bit about it. So I'm going to start by just wetting up my colors with a spray bottle. Now all of the colors do have information like pigment information, light fast rating, opacity. So there's like semi-opaque, transparent, all that information right on the card, which is really nice. I do like seeing what kind of color range they do come up with in these palettes. I'm trying not to use too much water because it just drips, but I've never painted like this with watercolor where it's been like tilted. So I got to make sure I don't use a lot of water so it doesn't spill everywhere. But I have used Lightwish watercolors in the past, and I really do enjoy their quality. They're very easy to activate, very pigmented, which is kind of what you're looking for in watercolors, right? You want something that with just a few swipes, you can start painting. It doesn't dry. I'm actually going to use just a regular size 8 round brush. I think it'll be easier. It doesn't dry grainy or, granular. It's very nice and smooth. So we have gold ochre here. I love this color. Gold ochre, very nice and transparent. Orange. But yeah, this travel set definitely did intrigue me. I've been seeing a couple brands come out with a travel set that looks like this, where it's like a little mini easel in a wooden box, and I didn't have anything like this, so I was very excited to try it. But like I said, I've never painted with watercolor on an elevated surface like this. So this is interesting. I might actually try and do that. Let me know in the comments below if you do that. I have seen people do that, especially when they're doing plein air and stuff. But just because the amount of water I typically use, I don't paint where it's tilted like this. Now, the only time I might do that is if I'm doing like a gradient of like a background sky and I want it to kind of all blend. And that's one of the easier ways to do it. But it just feels so odd to me to be doing this. But I guess if you're on the go and you're sitting on a bench or something, this could be really nice to use like an easel. So we have a nice range of like pinks and magentas, which is great. This carmine red is a really nice kind of pink. More like madder lake red is like a purpley magenta. A nice bright red. I like when they give you reds that are not too orangey. So that's nice. Got a blue, a phthalo blue. Indigo is always a must in my palette, so that's nice to have. Ooh, this is a pretty one. Bluish green. It's like a turquoise, but it's more on the green side. I actually really like that. And let's see what greens they've given us. This is always the test for me. So we have this kind of emerald green. And then we have sap green. Ooh, that's not like a typical sap green, which is nice. It almost feels like a little bit darker, which I really like. And then this is, nope, that is not green deep. Maybe, oh, you know what? I got them all wrong because when I did drop them, they all flipped. This is sap green, I'm sure. Because this is the deep green. This is a brown. Hold on. This is my bad. Okay, so we have sap green here, which makes more sense. This is probably sepia right there. Okay, let's try that again. Yes, there's a different color on the swatch card. But you know what? Maybe that's why they came with 2 swatch cards. Because they know that someone was going to lose the places of all of the pans when they fall out. And then they need another swatch card. Okay, well, I really like this deep green, either way. The sap green feels a little bit more like a bright, kind of like neon-y green, like a tree green, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but with a little bit of color mixing, you can make it any color green you like. We got a raw sienna, burnt sienna, which I love as well. English red. Burnt umber. I've been noticing a lot lately too that a lot of palettes have like a wide variety of browns. And I just don't use browns that often. I always find it's kind of not a waste of space, but like I like to mix my browns, to be honest. Especially because it's so easy for us to mix muddy colors. But yeah, a lot of them have a lot of browns. That's 5 browns and then black. I find it really odd to paint this way too. I like painting like this, not like this. So that's interesting. Okay, so there are the colors. The range of colors is nice. Comes with all the essentials that you would need to paint anything, basically. I really love this deep green. That's really pretty. But yeah, so that's really nice. Now, like I was saying with this, I don't know if I'll actually paint like this. I might try and paint something elevated like this, like how it's intended, but I don't necessarily love that. But I mean, let me know in the comments. I'm really curious if you are more one to paint flat on a table or kind of like on an easel. So this is the palette. Let's see how some of the colors mix in the mixing wells, if it like immediately beads up. It does bead up a bit. Yeah. Which typically happens with like a new plastic palette. And in order to kind of combat that, you just have to keep on using it. Or you can, some tricks I've heard people do the magic eraser and kind of like scrub that down so it doesn't bead up. Or you can even take a glue stick, wipe it off, and then it also helps with that. But honestly, if you just keep using it, it's not that big of a deal. It won't bead up. So that's the palette. So far, so good. So I think I said already, but I think it retails for about $60 Canadian, which honestly isn't bad for something that's like as luxurious as this, like looking at least. That's a pretty decent price. Okay, so let's take a look at the sketchbook they sent. Okay, so this is like the travel sketchbook that they sent that also looked really cool. I haven't really seen much like this before. And I was very excited because it comes in brown or green, and they were going to send me the brown. And I said, hey, green is my favorite color. Could I get the green? And they said, of course. And how about we send you this other green journal too, which is great because, like I said, I love green. Okay, so it's like a leather plastic, not leather plastic. It's a leather wrap. You just wrap it like that. And not only is it watercolor paper, like a sketchbook, it's like a little travel carrying case. So you can put your brushes to go. So you can fit about 3. That one's for a small brush. So this looks like it's for a bigger one. So a big, maybe not that big. And then maybe a small brush here. So a big, medium, small. And then you have another side over here, another big, medium, and small. You could put, I don't know, a clip in there. Oh, here. There it is, a little foam piece. Or anything, I don't know, scissors, kneaded eraser. You can put a ton of things in here, and then you would just wrap it up to go. So that's cool. And it comes with 100% cotton, I believe, watercolor paper. Yes, it's 100% cotton. Feels a little bit on the smoother side, but typically, oh, maybe it is hot pressed. I think it might be hot pressed paper, which I usually work on cold press, but we can test out how the hot press works too. And then obviously these are little rings, so you can take them in and out. So if you don't like a painting, instead of ripping it out of a sketchbook, you can just do that. Or you can use the paper and then put it on the easel travel watercolor set that we have. So that's really cool. I kind of like this, the way it's bound. I find that really convenient. Or if you have a sketchbook with perforated edges. So that's really cool. So now I'm going to attempt to paint something. I think I'm actually going to take this and the travel watercolor set into my main room in my studio, and we're going to try and paint something and see how this paper performs with the new watercolors. you go, just a really quick little landscape to kind of test out the paper, see how the watercolors perform, and overall, it's actually really, really nice paper, and the watercolors are beautiful. So I'm not sure if it's hot pressed or cold pressed paper. It feels a bit more hot pressed to me because there's not a lot of texture, but it's really easy to work on. You get those bleeds and kind of explosions effortlessly. It lifts really nice, which I tried with this kind of like abstract flower area here. The watercolors are so vibrant, very easily to activate, very pigmented, and the paper is beautiful to work on. Now, I don't know if I would use it kind of elevated like that. That was really my first time painting with watercolor like that. And it was interesting. Maybe I just need a bit more practice. But the setup is pretty cool. Now, if you're looking to purchase this as a travel set, I would say it would be a travel set, maybe if you're going to set up for like the day, something nice and sturdy. But if you're looking for something compact and like easy to travel with, this isn't as ideal because it is fairly heavy and big and bulky. But if you're looking for like a nice setup that you're going to spend hours and hours using maybe outside, this is really beautiful and the quality is great. So overall, a lot of fun, really love the paper, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on all my other platforms for tons more content. Have a great day, guys. Bye.